Welcome to Conversations That Count with Rob Brown, and I'm delighted to be here with David Bowler. David, hello to you today.
Hi Rob, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. David, a lot of people won't know, but I know that you're famous. You've recently been appointed to the Global Marketing Network Council. You run a fantastic business club called The Edge. You're the head of Incisive Edge, a business growth consultancy with clients all over the world. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in business.
Well, I've actually been in business a little while. I started early, and I've always seen that as an advantage because I've been able to make my mistakes early on and hopefully learn from those. And obviously, with respect to your realm of expertise, gather a lot of contacts and a useful network along the way.
In terms of your background and what you've done before you came to Incisive Edge in the Business Club, where is your areas of expertise?
So it all started really in sport. I worked for some international sports agencies running big sponsorship accounts, and then we set up a corporate sports events agency. We set up the National Corporate Five-a-Side Football Championships with the Times newspaper, sold that business, set up a sports agency managing golfers on the European Tour, which was very successful, and running tournaments and golf days and that kind of thing. Moved on to the media side where we made television programs on Sky and the Golf Channel, and working for brands in golf, creating commercials, infomercials, DVDs and all that kind of thing. And we've expanded out to build a group of companies still involved in sport, but obviously using our expertise in growing businesses and driving revenues, where our expertise are now founded in Incisive Edge Solutions.
So tell us what kind of clients you deal with at Incisive Edge.
We're focused on SMEs, so probably the M of the SMEs, but to be honest, we do work with some insightful startups, as we term them, people with a view to prolific growth and perhaps with an exit in mind. We also do some corporate work for larger clients. And our methodology applies to any business in any industry vertical, but it's pretty specific about how to increase equity value in your company.
Yeah, that whole growing to sell thing, it's on the minds of a lot of entrepreneurs, but it's fair to say that not all of them know how to get the value out of the company and to exit in the right way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to say that you want to have an exit. It can just be part of an overall growth strategy, but it's a great way of valuing your business and keeping score, if you like.
What really excites me about what you're doing, David, is the Edge Business Club. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, the Edge Business Club is really a distillation of our intellectual property and methodology in how to build a business yourself. If I can just touch a little bit on our approach, 99% of companies really work on an income or a revenue strategy. They're looking for more clients, hunting and farming all the time. They're looking for their next piece of revenue, and they're just trying to grow the business in that way. Now, that's fine as it stands. It can create a bit of a negative culture in companies which become very sales-orientated, and obviously in times like a recession, that can have a bit of a bad impact internally. We combine an income and an equity strategy. So working on an income-only strategy, if you would go to exit or have your company valued or so on, typically there would be a multiple against your profit. So standard would be around 6 or 7 times your profit. Someone would say, look, that's the amount that I'll give you, and obviously you've got yourself a deal. By driving a factor in the equity side of things, such as clients, brand, product, extension and depth, positioning, all the way up to scale, you can drive a factor of that multiple of up to 20 times, and that's something that's often neglected. The fund manager's model, it's identifying the gaps, and we're pretty much the only people applying that methodology in the SME sector to drive real value. We've decided to provide all of our methodology to be really accessible by members of the Edge. We don't want it to be just another networking organisation, although obviously there are those sort of benefits in it. It's a very resource-led membership. So members can receive e-guides, self-implementation guides, a whole range of access points to be able to do this for themselves, and get hold of information they wouldn't really be able to get elsewhere.
It's a compelling proposition because as a networking expert, if you like, one of the things I see a lot is a plethora of networking groups and events and clubs that provide people with an opportunity to network, but very few are giving them the other thing that they need, which is the education. You don't just give me a chance to network, help make me better while I'm doing it. So you're obviously adding the education to the motivation to network.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a process in itself that requires commitment. In fact, we don't work with every company that says they wish to engage, because it can be quite a difficult thing. You have to step outside of your day-to-day business life and really be committed to the process to grow the business. And that's what the Edge Business Club is all about. It's about for entrepreneurs, business owners committed to growth, people who share in the process and want to contribute to a group of like-minded individuals.
Now, that's not just London, is it? I gather you've got plans to go a little bigger than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the club is online as well as face-to-face. So we run events around the country, predominantly London-centric, but we have satellite events running around the country. And we have members internationally because we have an online community at theedgebusinessclub.com. Which is free to join and participate in the forums and marketplace and free resource centres online with people from all around the world.
Is there a number of different access points at which people can get involved with the business club, David?
Yeah, because it's so resource heavy, there are obviously different levels of membership. So the Edge Associate is free. You can come to events and you can get access to the community and some podcasts and so forth. The Edge Online is where you'll actually receive your monthly e-guides, the self-implementation information, case studies, podcasts, as we've said, and further resources, and that's all from your desktop. And then moving into the Edge itself, which is £77 a month, the Edge Online being only £10 a month, so massively over-serviced. The Edge itself provides for the events, provides for help, phone lines and professional services of accountancy and legal and so forth. It also provides business clinics, massive range of stuff. It's all available online and something that's helping businesses to grow.
Sounds like it's really going to make an impact. I understand you've got a few hundred members already.
Yeah, we've got 600 registered, but we've been lucky in that a number of very key, significant partners have sort of stuck their flag in the ground with us. On the corporate side, they include Merrill Lynch, Vantis, Nabarro's, and about 4 or 5 other foundation partners. In terms of channel partners, people who are providing into us, there's some of the biggest business forums and websites which are starting to feed in and contribute because they like what we're doing in terms of growing people's business.
Clearly, you're a natural networker. You've obviously done it all your life. What is it that attracts you to networking?
I think it's nice to get out there and meet people. What I've always sort of enjoyed is the ability to meet people, understand what they're doing, and if they've got a certain requirement or situation, to be able to sort of recall instantly that there's someone else you could connect them with who may be able to help them with that. And that's a nice situation to be in, and one that I'm sure many people share from having attended networking and so forth. The key to it is being able to distinguish yourself, but also not being in it just to kind of take what you can get out of it on the day, seeing what you can really contribute to a like-minded group.
You must have seen a lot of bad networking in your time. What are some of the mistakes you think people make?
I think it's difficult to expect something straight away, and I think that if you don't see natural synergy with, say, your target market or your customer segment with someone who you meet at an event, it doesn't mean that person isn't worthwhile getting to know or to understand a little bit more about, because you never know when the relevance will occur.
In terms of what makes a really good networker, what are some of the skills you think really stand out?
I think an ability to listen, to share experiences, to not be in it for the kind of the short term. I think it's important to be able to add value where you are, and people like to do things in different ways in terms of referrals. I'm sure that you recognise this yourself. Some people are happy to make referrals, and obviously they'd like to see other people do the same back to them. Some people like to have a structured introducers agreement where they think they can add value in a more consistent way that's going to drive remuneration. So I suppose one of the keys would be understanding the parameters of each person you're engaging with, and really look what they'd like to get out of the relationship.
You've talked about commitment. I think is a terrific word, and misunderstood in a way. People just think that showing up is commitment. It's a very weak form of commitment, but you've got to be committed to the whole networking thing. In terms of being referable, what is it that makes somebody easily referable, do you think, David?
I think, and it's something I've been guilty of in the past, absolutely. I think it's important to be known for one thing, to have, to be able to leave one key message with somebody who you meet, so that then they're able to call to mind, next time that something of relevance comes up. A good story I've heard before is that instead of there was a web designer, and when asked what he did, he said, we design websites for rock stars, instead of saying I'm just another kind of generic web designer. So that person was instantly memorable. Next time, a referral was called to mind.
It's a case of being the first on somebody's mind when an opportunity comes up. The spare wheel when the wheel falls off their wagon. You want people to come to you first, above and beyond all of their other choices. And obviously, having a standout message helps. Is there anything else you think makes people referable? I
suppose you need to demonstrate value. You need to be trusted. You need to back up what you say with your results. Incisive Edge, as a consultancy, are very results-led. Most of our work, in fact, comes by way of referrals from people who we've successfully grown the value of their businesses, increased their revenue streams, and we're recommended to other people because they know that we're going to deliver a good job for them and get the results that they need. I think that's an important part of it. No one wants to refer somebody and then it turns out that the person they've connected with isn't going to deliver. It affects on everybody's reputations. So that's an important part of it. And the longevity, as you say, commitment, being around, being seen at a number of these events, meeting people on a number of different occasions, reinforcing messages and providing value where you can to them and their business.
This is great stuff, David. In bringing things to a close now, people that are listening, if they want to dip their toes into the world of networking or generate more referrals for themselves and raise the game, create more business opportunities, what's the 2 or 3 pieces of advice would you give them to help them do that?
To start with, they could register their profile on theedgebusinessclub.com. It's free to do that, and then you can list your business and services in our marketplace, and that's obviously accessible for people on the community looking for those sorts of services, and obviously referrals and engagements can come that way. I think it's important to show up to events and as you were saying before, go there with the right spirit, be committed, be prepared to see what you can add to the relationship first, and you're bound to get that coming back to you in spades. And then be pretty refined about your message. Have 1 or 2 key points to communicate when you meet somebody, and keep reinforcing those wherever you can.
David, that's fantastic. We look forward to some more wise words from you in the future podcasts. Tell us, if people need to get hold of you, I'll ask you a couple of questions, or maybe think about coming on as one of your clients, how might they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Our corporate website is incisive-edge.com. I'm available at any time to chat through situations on 07980 553 919. And of course, we welcome anybody to our own networking events at the Edge. You can register at no cost online, and be happy to welcome you there into the community.
David Boller of Incisive Edge and the Edge Business Club, thank you very much.
Rob, thanks so much.